Every single time I see that little rocket ship of a server rack take off there, it fills me with such joy. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is Tuesday. This is the Two Guys Tech Home Lab Hour. I am your intrepid, dedicated host, Rich Tesla, and we're here to hang out and talk about home labs and YouTube videos that I make and all that kind of stuff, and just kind of hang out. Let's get our housekeeping out of the way real quick. We'll start with the chat. See Antitux in Trucker Alley Cat UK, which I haven't seen you around in quite some time, so it's good to see you show up there in the chat. And we got Aragorn in there and Jason. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to a Tuesday evening here. Anyway, let's see. This is episode 68. Oh, by the way, Sakura's in there. Yakuto's in there. I got everybody in there. This is episode 68, and I realized that last episode, in retrospect, was 67, and there should have been a 6-7 joke in there, but I didn't do it because I'm 47 years old. What are you thinking? And because, I missed it, I would say, because I'm not too above that. Taco Lopez, welcome. Levix, we got everybody here. Good to see you guys all in here. So this is episode 68, and it's August. What is today? Today's August something. 26th. That's right. I have the wrong date in my show notes, which is great. As always, if you have questions, you have something, anything that you want me to answer, throw it in the chat and we'll pop it up on the screen. I will do my best. It means I'll make a 69 joke. Hey, Brandon's right. It's a good one. I didn't mean to make a note of that. I mean, for those of you watching last week, I almost got myself completely kicked off YouTube. I didn't do it. Calmer heads prevailed, including my own, but I digress. Brandon doesn't really know about that one, so he'd have to go back and look. But anyway, hindsight. Captain Hindsight. Anyway, I get 2 times a show to talk about our community, our Discord. That's the thing I'm most proud of. I encourage you, I implore you to join our community Discord and hang out with like-minded nerds like me and Brandon and everyone you see in the chat. Talk about Home Lab, and it's a great place to hang out. And after this show, which will end in approximately 1 hour from now, we'll go over there and we'll do our after hours chat where we just kind of sit in there and catch up on each other's days, what's going on. Sometimes there's massively leaking servers. Sometimes there's me buying stuff I don't need. And as Aragorn just said in the chat, I couldn't put it any better. It's not Discord, it's group therapy. And that is well said. Well said. Anyway, and last but not least, Brandon is back. He's back, ladies and gentlemen. So he's there to make sure that I don't run off the rails again, because that tends to happen. I mean, before he left, we didn't have a rocket intro, and we didn't have me going to onlyrams.com. So it's anyway. I like to start these off with just a personal thing. Nothing too exciting this go around, but this personal story kind of simply comes with a disclaimer, and that is, I am getting over a head cold, and getting sick sucks. Like, it just does. I don't have anything gross or nasty to say other than, like, I went to bed at like 6 p.m. last night. And I slept all the way till like 6 a.m. this morning. So I am quite charged up on the batteries, quite chipper, but also just still a little bit spacey. So if I don't seem like I'm all there, it's the Monster energy drinks aren't solving that problem. That cloudiness is still there. But what can I say? Anyway, feeling a lot better, and I was really happy that I woke up feeling not so crummy, so we could do this, hang out and chat with you guys. I think like we did last week, though, I want to start with the news before we get to the tail end of stuff, like the video that was released yesterday, and get all that kind of good stuff. So let's start talking about this. So I'm going to do my best to describe and explain this to you guys, because even I still consider myself a gamer, even though I play 0.5 video games, like half a video game these days. I still, deep down in my heart, I'm still a video gamer. And I hadn't really been paying close attention to the GTA cyber leak situation. So I'm going to do my best in my attempt to describe this to you guys. And by all means, you guys in the chat who may be following this deeper, please fill in for me where I fail. But anyway, so long story short here, Take-Two Interactive, Rockstar Games, the company who's making GTA 6, which is the highly anticipated, long waiting game. It's like I can't remember how many billion or billions of dollars of investment that's gone into making this game. We're all going to play that game when it comes out, right? We're all going to do it. We can pretend like we're not. It doesn't matter if you're on a console, if you're on a PC, you're going to find a way to play that game because they're genuinely entertaining games. And especially when they're cool hacks that come out and then you can have infinite money and that kind of stuff and get banned. But Skura, get your free copy of GTA 6 from Flock Cameras. Yeah, I saw that meme in the Discord. That was quality memes. Anyway, the genesis of this situation comes from basically an anonymous leaker group calling themselves CyberLeak, L-E-E-K, as you can see on the screen there. Basically has been releasing GTA 6 gameplay clips, map images, and cutscenes starting on August 18th, 2026. Just a week before Rockstar's official extended look showcase on Netflix, which airs tomorrow. And 3 months before the November 19th launch of the game. So this has really been a big deal for Rockstar. They have been super aggressive trying to find this person, find this group, find the information, and either sue them into oblivion or, I don't know, sick the dogs on them. But it's gotten super messy. So this is the first real gameplay footage of GTA 6 from anyone, official or otherwise. So, and it's legitimate footage. I'm not going to show any of it because I don't want to get a DCMA or DMCA on here and get a content strike because I'm a wuss. You can flame me for that in the comments. But it's also happening during this, just amid a flood of convincing AI generated fakes and whatnot. But this is the real deal. So CyberLeak claims that they present themselves as a digital vigilante. Here's where we get into maybe the aspirational ideals of what you are as a elite hacksaw. But CyberLeak presents themselves as a digital vigilante movement fighting corporate gaming practices, operating through a website, a pixel art leak in tactical gear, and a Telegram channel. They published do I have it in this article? They published a manifesto. And their manifesto is, it's pretty, let's see if I can find the manifesto. I thought it was in here. Maybe not. Okay. Let's go over here. I want to read you this. Leak. Man, don't want to read you there. Can I see it? Images. Okay, that is too blurry. Let's see if we can get a good one. Cool. Where is it? Anyway, long story short, that's something that I obviously should have had prepared ahead of time. But basically, the manifesto is along the lines of, it's evil corporate behavior to not produce physical copies and do pre-sales of digital games, which cost them nothing. Aragorn Strider says, information wants to be free should be the first statement of any manifesto. If it isn't, they're not real hackers. Yeah, I mean, we should all be leaning out the window of a cop car screaming, hack the planet too, right? I think that makes me old when I say that. Anyway, back to this. So they released their CyberLeak Edict, which is a manifesto of 3 commandments that is anti-digital pre-orders. Pre-orders were not created for gamers. They were created because physical discs had manufacturing limits. GTA 6's physical box contains only a download code. So this one is directly targeting Rockstar. Anti-paying to unlock content already in the base game. Again, they're going after by the way, GTA 6's Ultimate Edition is $100 if you buy that, which, guys, I respect each and every one of you who are watching this and maybe watching this in the future. Please don't tell me you spent $100 on the Ultimate Edition. Please don't. Buy the $70 version and then go, I don't know, take that $30 and do something else with it. Save it for your RAM. Yeah. And games must stay playable offline after the servers die, which that fits really into a bigger movement about, losing access to the games you paid for after the companies decide that they're no longer going to be supporting the product, right? Long story short, there's a ton of information in here about all of these things, going as far as CyberLeak launched a cryptocurrency token called $CyberLeak, which is a Solana meme coin. Days before the leak went viral, they claim that they're using all the profits for that and the tokens as a way to vote for what to attack or leak next. Like they're trying to turn this into some sort of like pseudo-democratic, like use your cyber crypto coins to do that. It's just, yes, everyone should be watching Hackers tonight. In fact, right after the live show, everyone just go and find Hackers and watch it. You need that in your life. Trust me. He went as far as to claim the cyber leak. I'm going to say he, them, they, the collective that is that entity is claimed they have a dead man switch. So the instant the police roll up on his house or somehow they find that person or that group of people, the entire contents of the leaked data will hit the internet. And he's published, I keep saying he, I apologize. The entity that is CyberLeak has claimed that will go out the door. So it's quite the drama, and it feels so ridiculous, right? Yeah, it doesn't have Angelina Jolie in it. This collective most certainly doesn't have Angelina Jolie in it. Or maybe it does. Maybe one of their 15 children that they've got. Anyway, so there's some other stuff in there that's interesting to note. For example, Take-Two is claiming that they've lost around $2.8 billion in market value during this leak, which I'm not entirely certain how you can have unrealized money like that, right? Unless they're claiming that they're missing out on pre-orders, which again, friends don't let friends pre-order anyway, so don't pre-order anyway. But it is just a hugely messy, funny thing. And this is not the first. Like, if you remember, there was an early leak from Rockstar in 2022, and they found the individual who did that, and they took him to task for it. And so this is not that previous leak. Supposedly this is new data, new information. Why can't a game company? Anyway, if you haven't been following this drama, it's quite interesting. I'm obviously doing a terrible job of describing, other than to be like, I can't believe people. Like, doesn't anybody have anything more important to do with their time? But I do like a little bit of internet drama. Moving on. Yesterday, friends, was the day that Apple announced the new Mac Mini with M6 and M5 Pro, as well as the Mac Studio now with M5 Max and M5 Ultra. The only reason I really want to talk about these is because, I mean, it's Apple has seen the light, and so they're leading heavily with, you want AI? This is going to AI for you. It's going to AI so hard. So, but if you price one of these things out, and I've got a Mac Studio down here. It's an I think it's an M1 Mac Studio, right? That I've had for a while and don't use because I have a M5 MacBook Pro for editing. But the Mac Mini, let's talk about the Mac Mini first to just kind of quickly run through all this fun stuff. Well, let's see. So they dropped the new Mac Mini and Mac Studio Pro, and actually that happened this morning, not yesterday. I don't know why I said that way, but they're not available yet. They'll be available September 22nd, but pre-orders are up. Both are chip swaps, not redesigns, so same chassis for both of these guys, but the silicon is generationally new, obviously, and headlined by Apple's first 2-nanometer chips. The M6 is the, quote, most powerful chip ever. M5 Ultra, Apple's first quad die as well. So the M5 Ultra is 4 M5 chips smushed together to make that. So let's talk about the Mini first. Base model Apple M6 is a 2 nanometer processor, 12 core CPU. By the way, now we have super cores. We don't just have performance cores and efficiency cores anymore. We now have 3 cores. We have a super core, and then performance cores, and then efficiency cores. And people in the chat are still complaining about the button on the bottom, and I can't argue. Apple designs for Apple and not necessarily for people. So the buttons are still on the bottom, the back side. So the base model, again, 12 cores, 2 super cores, 4 performance cores, 6 efficiency cores. And this is the first Apple chip to use 3 cores, or 3 types of core in one processor. They claim this is the world's fastest single-threaded performance, up to 40% faster than, and up to 40% faster and multi-threaded than the M4. It has 2-core GPU with neural accelerator in every core. Apple says it's 4 times faster for AI. But these the big point here is that you can build this thing out. Wow, man. I really enjoy the web page stuff, but it's like scrolling for days and days and days. But yeah, they're leading with the unified memory. Hey, you want to run local AI? This is your answer to local AI for both of these. And okay, let's get to the pre-order side of this. So I did want to look and show you guys what if we were to build this out. So we'll go with the M5 Pro chip because we're going to go with the 18-core, 20-core GPU. We get up to 64 gigs of RAM in this guy, which is, this is the Mini we're talking about. We're talking about the Mini here. Even if we throw that $3,800 for an 8 terabyte drive, done. Oh, 10 gig Ethernet. Come on. What do you think I am, a scrub? And no trade-in. So that little Mac Mini right there, enhanced, if you can see that, out the door, fully equipped, is almost $8,000. And that, remember that the Mac Mini was supposed to be really targeted at the people who wanted something a little bit better than an iPad, but didn't want to step up to the flavor of like an iMac or a Mac Pro or a Mac Studio. It was supposed to be the baseline product. And I get that hardware is expensive these days, but that's, prove me wrong. Almost, it's basically $1,600 for that. But let's not let that deter you. Let's look at the Mac Studio, because this big bad boy here is, it's a beast of its own. I want to get to let me find it. The Mac Studio Pro M5 Max. There we go with the M5 Ultra as well. Base model 18-core CPU, 6 super cores plus 12 performance cores, up to 40-core GPU with neural accelerator per core. It says it's 50% faster GPU than the M4 Max. It's really great that Apple compares themselves to their own previous generation as if they're in a class of their own. I gotta say, that's some marketing magic right there. We can be like, no, we don't have to compare ourselves to anyone else. We are our own benchmark. So I respect for that, for sure. But this guy right here is also claiming, because of that GPU, of 614 gigabytes a second in memory bandwidth, which is faster than the M4s that came before it. And this base model goes from 36 gigs up to 128 gigs of memory, which you're running Olam and running models on there. 128 gigs it's a lot of LLM storage. The M5 Max, which I'm using the wrong mouse because that's good for me here. No, that's right. I'm in the wrong spot. The M5 Ultra, apologies. It's the first quad-die Apple chip using a new Ultra Fusion technology, because it's ultra fused. Don't forget that. Just get an RTX Pro 6000. Aragorn is not wrong. If you can afford the 13 grand average going rate right now. Yeah. So the Max, on the other hand, is a lot more money. So like I said, 18 core and 40 core, up to 40 core GPU with that. This guy can run quite quite a bit more RAM. In fact, I want to build this one out with you guys because I think that's worth showing you. So I'm gonna do the thing that is for shock value here. I'm gonna go with the most expensive Mac Studio that an individual can make here. So the Ultra chip here, which baseline cost on that is $5,500, right? We're gonna go with the 36 core, 80 core GPU, or 36 core CPU, 80 core GPU. That's another $1,300 if you guys get your calculators out here. We're gonna go for the 256 gigabytes of unified memory on this box. There's by the way, it's important to note, so they intend to sell this with a 512 gigabyte unified memory option, but it doesn't come until late October because Apple admits they can't get the RAM. So they delayed it until they can, apparently. So 256, that was only a $4,000 extra on there. And of course, who doesn't want 16 gigabytes of storage on this thing? No trade-in. Grand total for one box. And this is where Aragorn's comment about the RTX Pro 6000 comes into play. Grand total, $18,299. Wow. If you wanted, 256 gigs of RAM, that's like, I will say, don't get me wrong here. Cause I know you're looking at a guy that has a MacBook Pro M5 in front of him right now. I'm dropping stuff all over the place. I've got an iPhone. I've got an Apple Watch. Like, I'm an Apple person. I'm more of a command line person, but whatever. But so I understand the pull of it, but at a certain point, we're talking about numbers that make the baby Jeebus cry, because that's you can get an RTX Pro. Actually, what is the going rate now that I think about it? Because I think the RTX Pro 6000, it's gone up appreciably. So let's go to RTX Pro 6000, and let's go to shopping, of course. So looks like the going rate is anywhere between, they've gone up even. So they're around 15K a piece now. And that's for that's the Max Q workstation variant. 14. Oh, that hurts me bad. It hurts. Oh, I don't even like looking at those numbers. Anatuck said, I think they killed the Mac Pro officially. If they haven't officially killed the Mac Pro, that price tag certainly doesn't make it, that doesn't make it easier to buy. I mean, I don't think there's a Mac Pro even in the lineup right now. So, but nonetheless, technically, I guess that's as expensive or close to being as expensive as an RTX Pro 6000. And if that's the case, you do get a whole computer on top of it, not just a GPU. So we have reached this equilibrium now where you can get the GPU and go with the CUDA stack, or you can get the go the Apple route and have an MLX stack, basically, which at least with the Apple, now that I think about it. Now, you know what? I have kind of come around thinking about this. Like, if I had a choice and I had to spend the money either way, the RTX 6000 Pro would be much faster at compute for AI operations, because that GDDR6 or 7 is just incredibly fast. Like, that card does incredible things, hands down, but it just does those incredible things really well, right? We start talking about what the Apple does. The Apple does a reasonably good job, especially, like I said, the modern MLX GPU AI stuff that's happening out there. It's fast. It's not as fast as the RTX 6000 Pro, but you also get a whole computer with it. 6000 Pro, you still got to buy a computer and a GPU that could do at least 600 watts plus some just for the GPU. That bad boy is a lot more efficient. So there's a point to be made on both sides. Yeah, I like 2GTBK just said, it's better efficiency from the Mac Pro. That's true. You don't have to worry about dedicated stuff, but we've just entered into crazy land. That's for sure. One-time payment. I don't have my wallet. Can one of you guys spot me for this Somebody in the chat got I'll give you my address. You can just ship it right to my door. Anyway, it's nice to see new Apple products. It's a shame that the hardware has gotten this expensive. But I don't know what to say about that. This is the world we live in. That's my Phil Collins for the evening. Moving on. Brandon dropped this in earlier today, and I wanted to talk about Nvidia. Nvidia's $500 billion bet to make AI compute Wall Street's next asset class. Y'all ready for this? So Nvidia has partnered with a major private equity and financial institutions like Apollo, BlackRock, Blackstone, Brookfield, Goldman Sachs, and KKR to launch non-binding financial platforms aimed at raising over $500 billion for AI data centers. CEO Jensen Huang presented AI compute as a durable. This is the key thing I want you guys to think about. Jensen Huang has presented AI compute as a durable, investable asset class similar to traditional infrastructure, supported by reusable hardware and software updates. It's like Trucker Alleycat just UK just said it. Got to keep that circular finance going. Like, have we really reached the point now where they're trying to treat AI hardware like it is an appreciating asset? Because really, we all know that computers are not appreciating assets. We're off in crazy land. So, financing structure. Nvidia is facilitating third-party financing to expand buying power without placing data center debt on its own balance sheet. Nvidia may offer residual value support up to 25% of selected opportunities. Depreciation versus durability. While Nvidia notes that older chips like the A100 still see ongoing demand, major operators like Amazon have reduced server depreciation schedules from 6 to 5 years due to rapid advancements in AI hardware. And then there's the rental versus resale value. High short-term GPU rental prices reflect immediate market demand rather than long-term second-hand collateral value. Lenders face residual risk if newer GPU architectures emerge before existing debt is fully amortized. This whole thing, guys, this whole thing just smells so bad. It smells so bad. Like, I cannot understand. For example, and Michael Burry, who is the real investor from the movie The Big Short. Remember the movie Big Short? Good movie, you should watch that. Is doubled down on Nvidia short after a $500 billion chip deal he calls a Wall Street stunt with shades of Enron. That should mean, depending on your age, like there's something we said that the term Enron means a lot more to a certain age group than it does to others. You know, and Enron will go down history as like one of these companies that defrauded investors and basically went insolvent and destroyed all of their employees' retirement. It was a bad deal. Enron was a power company. And then actually there's some people in this chat right now who are familiar with Enron in terms of who it was as a company. It was a bad deal. And so this feels like we are, like Michael Burry said, this smells of past Enron-esque sort of things. But it's, as Alleycat Trucker UK said, you got to keep that circular financial engine going. Someone's got to be pouring in money from somewhere, because they're at a certain point, that money going to run out. Yeah, if not bubble, why bubble shaped? That might be my favorite line of the night. Levix, thank you for that. Nonetheless, thank you, Forbes. Nonetheless, just kind of interesting and terrifying to think that they want to try to turn this into a financial instrument. And I just, has nobody, like, what happened to people who used to say, like, that's not a good idea? Like, where are those people? There used to be lots of those people. There used to be, I feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong here, there used to be a lot of people who would say, that's not a good deal. What you're doing there, that's shady. Where are they at now? Where did they all go? Did they all get paid off by Nvidia? Maybe. Good times, eh? Good times. Moving on. Let's go to the next thing. This was another good one. China joins Europe. We talked a little bit about this earlier, but to talk about it further here, China has basically said no more Windows. We're going to Linux. We're getting rid of Microsoft stuff. And originally they had scheduled this for February of next year, but they moved it up. As an aside, this is really, I'm going to point this out just from a Rich being a YouTuber and getting all these like signals from around all these parts of the industry. Digital sovereignty is literally becoming more than just we just talk about it and it's something we like to like it's becoming a thing. Like you look at France, you look at Germany, you look at basically most all Europe minus I guess the UK. You look at now China, like all of these countries, which for the longest time were essentially beholden to US companies, are now like, that's it. The pain of being here has become too much. We're getting out. And, especially in the videos that I've done recently, specifically around the virtualization stuff, like the reason why XCP&G gets so much love is because it is seen as a digital sovereignty haven. It's a French-made piece of software, and it is very much outside of the control and pressure of the United States government. So I think, me being just a dude playing another dude, that I think that this is going to become even a larger, more hot button, more prescient conversation as time goes on. And this is yet another point, right? To see China being like, that's it. We're out. No more Windows. If you got Windows, we got to start getting rid of Windows. And let's talk quickly about this a little bit. I need to move my thing around since I just went on a little bit of a tangent. So, Chinese government orders their agencies to switch from Windows to Linux. The Chinese government has ordered select agencies to replace Windows 10 China Government Edition with domestic open source Linux distributions, advancing its initiative to eliminate foreign technology from sensitive public sector systems. Primary drivers of this are the shift is motivated by data security concerns and broader push for digital sovereignty, reflecting a growing distrust of America software suppliers amongst non-US governments. And I get it. I completely get it. I think we live in a day and age that you probably should have your own systems under your own control. That's what I'm saying, right? So there's some likely replacements in line for them, right? You can see them listed up here. They're looking at, I have not looked at any of these OSs because they're Chinese domestic market Linux OSs, but Kylin OS, which is an open source version of Open Kylin, and Union Tech OS, UOS, which is Huawei's, Huawei's Harmony OS is also expanding towards PC. So Huawei, am I saying that right? Huawei? Their Harmony OS, which is basically their phone OS. It looks like they're targeting that for desktops as well to get in that. So I wonder what it's like though. As a guy who works in technology as a day job, like a lot of you in this chat, I wonder what it's like to have to switch institution from a Windows platform to a Linux platform. Because look, you can say all day long to me, hey, this is the year of Linux desktop. I know that's an inside joke, but like Linux has really caught up with a lot of stuff. Hands down, right? I don't even enjoy if I have to deploy a server that's not a Linux server because I just don't see the value and we could do everything in Linux. But all that stuff being said, on the desktop side, Windows really has that grip, right? You've got the app ecosystem, you've got all this stuff, and it's very mature. Argue with me in the comments if you disagree. And then, to be in the situation where like, okay, we're going to move to Linux. Great. There's some you can use platforms to try to run Windows emulation for certain things. I realize that obviously that's how the entire Steam OS does its magic, is to emulate requirement stuff to run Windows games in Linux. But you have to take all of your employees and you have to train them on different software that's close, but not the same. And that not the same part means changing processes, changing procedures, changing workflows, changing how people do their day jobs. It is a monumental task. And when you think about this, when you think about the amount of human effort that has to go into, and we'll take China out of this. We'll look at France, or we'll look at Germany. Like you have a bunch of software on people's computers. You've trained these employees since the day they were hired to be in a Windows environment. And then you're like, here's your Linux. I mean, pour one out for those tech support people in the back office who are out there running around saying, no, you don't right click on this. You got it. It's over here now. It's got a different icon. Like, oh, I just feel for them. But point being, that pain, that effort that goes, that Herculean effort, if you will, to move your non-technical user base over to something like Linux off Windows, it means you really have to be fed up with it. Like, you really have to see a serious detriment in staying on that platform that requires you to overcome all of that effort. And I find that to be like, I imagine it's got to be an incredibly difficult thing to do in practice. So it's easy to say we're going to get off something. And I mean, China's a little different than the West. I think that they have the ability to make things happen faster. And we all know that they're very much more an engineering society than a bureaucratic society. So I'm sure they can do it faster. And clearly this article talks about how they're able to move quicker. But in other places, like every one of the people in this chat who are US people, imagine going into work and being tasked with switching every Windows desktop from your CEO down to the mailroom to Linux, and then having to personally work through with every one of those people to get them to be able to do their jobs, and then efficiently without the major detriment to. I mean, it's a huge effort. If you disagree, we have a chat box right there. I'm pointing at it, and you can just hit me up and tell me I'm wrong. But Aragorn says BIOS. By the way, I have a very soft spot for BIOS. And if you ask Brandon, he will tell you, don't bring it up, because I will then launch my BIOS virtual machine and show you it, because I love it. But yeah, so it's a big deal. It's a Herculean effort. I'm going to trademark that word for tonight. So tonight's, like every show, we're like, today's special word is Herculean. Say it now. Herculean. I think I'm putting the emphasis on the correct syllable. Sousa. Nope. Moving on. So, but that's huge. That's huge in the world of technology to see that happening. And if you're a U.S. company and you start to see these major markets outside the U.S. starting to go away and disconnect, eventually we're going to have a country that is isolated and their products are not welcome in other places. And we do want to sell our stuff outside the country, don't we? Just saying. Moving on. This is I believe my last news article for the show. And this one I'm gonna rage. So, as you can see by the title here, FCC officially decides gigabit speeds are too good for you. For you. Not me, because I have 5 gig at home, but for you. So this is officially a policy reversal from the FCC. The FCC has officially dropped the long-term national goals that aim to eventually reach 1 gigabit download and 500 megabits upload speed across the US. Because apparently they just didn't want to. I'm just looking back at the chat here, and I shouldn't have looked over the chat. There's lots of conversations about Herculean tasks with Ceph and XCP&G, and I don't know where the chat's going, and I'm just gonna slowly back away. Anyway, so the FCC has decided that the agency has justified dropping this goal by stating that the long-term technological developments and changing consumer preferences are impossible to predict. I don't know about anyone here, but I'm pretty sure that what the people don't want is slower speeds. I think that if you said, would you like standard fast internet as the standard? Every single one would be yes. Like to say you can't predict consumer preferences. Somebody in this chat, tell me that you prefer slower, shittier internet. I'll wait. No? Okay. All right. There's a big pause there. I'm assuming it's just data pause, nothing. But we need dial-up. Someone mute him. That's we're going the wrong direction here. This bothers me so much because it is a fundamental requirement. I believe, because I'm a nerd, and you can call me what you want. I don't care. I believe that basic internet at a reliable, fast speed is a human right. It's a requirement. And I know that's silly when you be like, Rich, food and water, I get it. Shelter, I get it. School and education, I get it. I think that internet is along the lines of education. We live in a society that if you prevent people from having access to the internet, appropriately fast speed access to the internet, you are preventing them from keeping up with those who do. And the internet is okay. I'll read the whole comment, Aragorn. Where did you say? You said you're in favor of shrinking. Favor this if it meant website sizes will shrink. We need dial-up. Aragorn is a big fan of efficiency, and I agree with that requirement. I don't think that this will lead to any change other than to harm the people who live in the back mountains of Appalachia or someplace, I don't know, someplace in the rural Midwest where there's just fields of grain and corn and no high-speed internet. I feel like this should be mandatory. I feel very strongly that everyone should have high-speed access to the internet. The abilities and the opportunities it provides you are necessary to be a intelligent and informed and functional person. Now, I know the internet has become dead and that there's a whole bunch of bots talking to chat box. We can talk about like the dead internet theory and the shittier parts of the internet, which is full of extremists and conspiracy theories and that kind of garbage. Take that and put it aside for a minute and really just think about like everyone should have access. It should be as fast as it can be. Everyone needs access to Wikipedia. Everyone needs access to information. It's just a hard, for me, it's a hard requirement. It's like food and water. If you don't have it, you're going to be behind and you're going to live it's going to be a much harder life for you. That's the piece. Anyway, back to this. So the current standard, the benchmark for broadband speed remains at 100 megabits download and 20 megabits upload, which was updated in 2024 from the previous 25 3 megabit standard. So, I mean, 100 megabits, that's what? One solid 4K stream from Netflix and then not enough bandwidth left to do it again. Like that's Comcast, I'm looking at you. Like you guys know that this probably comes down to external pressure from ISPs and others who are like, we don't really want to spend that money. And remember, the government gave a bunch of these rural ISPs a boatload of money to upgrade their networks and make them more modern so they could provide this access. And then it didn't happen. That's criminal, but they did. Everybody should have this access. I am lucky that I live in the Pacific Northwest here and that I have access to reasonably priced high-speed internet. And yes, you can always move someplace with high-speed internet if that's something that's most important to you. But it shouldn't have to be like I have to go someplace far away from my home. You should be able to get what you need there. That should be paid for by the ISPs. It always kind of side tangent. Sorry, I know we're burning up time here, but one of the jobs I had as a kid was I worked at an ISP in the good old town of Bozeman, Montana. And that ISP, I learned a lot about the way that the internet works. For example, like, the bandwidth back in, like at the time, this was all dial-up, but like we only have 10% of the total bandwidth that we could serve a client at all of our customers at any given time, because only 10% of the people are using it. But, these things are are mandatory. I think they're mandatory. Anyway, that's it for the news. Oh, and one last thing. I don't mean to leave this on a sad note for the news, but Dolly Parton died. And I'm not a country music person, but I remember seeing a documentary about her a couple of years back, and she was a good person. And it's a shame when we lose good people in the world. So there's that. My wife texted me. She's like, Dolly Parton died. And I'm like, damn it. I didn't need to know that. Couldn't she have died on a Wednesday and not the live show day? Then I have to be all sad. Anyway, but no, I mean, I feel like that's unfortunate. It's sad. She was a very, very good person who did a lot of good things for a lot of people. Anyway, let's move on. Let's talk about some fun stuff here. What do you say? We'll ignore the sad stuff and the fact that the FCC is not serving its constituents. It's serving corporations instead. No, thank you, Verge. I think I'm good there. Let's quickly talk about this. YouTube.com/2guystech. Let's come on, baby. Just a quick rundown on this video right here. Boy, oh boy, I didn't look at this. Oh my goodness. Let's just turn the sound off. And I'm so sick of AI slop ads. Like, if you click on a video game and play it after seeing an AI slop ad, then you're actually part of the problem. Just saying. Okay, I want to skip this. Thank you. So anyway, this video I told you guys a little bit last week. Last week I kind of went into detail where I talked about. I just want to get to this. Like, this was the data that was mined from the last video. By the way, I didn't realize this bad boy is doing quite well as a video. Good for me. Anyway, no, go back, Rich. Does he just talk back to myself as if my future self is watching? Nonetheless, it has been such an interesting experience to see people's reaction to the information. Mostly because, you know, there's always somebody who's like, oh, you're full of shit. Like there's always people like, oh, your information's wrong. I'm like, I published all of the information. I have YouTube Premium Aragorn. I'm not logged in with that account because this is a different persona. So the ads are there. I am a faithful payer for the ads for the whole family, by the way, because I don't want my kids to see ads either. Anyway, but there's now, but the good part of this is like you get to touch all these people's lives, right? And becomes a big shared experience where now I get even more data. So now I feel like when this video, so what do we have on comments here? I think there's, there's 700, no, that was my last one. 95 comments so far, excuse me. And a big chunk of these comments that are in here are people who are now filling in additional information about their environments and stuff. So I'm going to even have a bigger picture, a much more grander picture of where things are going. And I see some familiar names in here. I see some familiar names that are in the chat. And so it's and there's some people who have a real issue with like there are people who will respond like to a bunch of different comments because they have an axe to grind or a bone to pick. It's quite fascinating to watch people. Human behavior is always fascinating to me. But you know, there's like this guy, XCP and G for the win. There's more data here. So I think what's going to happen here is in the next, I don't know, we'll let this sit maybe for 6-8 months. We'll get a much longer time, and then maybe we'll go back and revisit the data, if it only to get more of an accurate picture of where things are going, because I think there's truth in this data, and data is beautiful. And so I'm excited to see where this goes. So thank you for all you who watched the video. And a lot of people are just like, hey, great video. Thanks, guys. Thanks for saying it's a great video. Moving on. Let's talk about projects coming up. So I've got this one I fired out really quickly. I've got other projects in the pipeline here. Self-selecting sample size. You're right, Aragorn. By no means anywhere in this data set do I claim that this is empirical double-blind study work, right? This is I start the whole video with like, this is a self-selecting group of people who watched my 20-minute video and felt strongly enough to tell me what they thought or what was happening to them. And that is a self-selection of group. I think that YouTube in general is a self-selecting group because you have people who are interested in the specific niches. The algorithm is going to feed you up the thing that it knows you're going to watch. You know how this works. This is all one great big manipulation we're all on. But next video, not next video coming up, but I'm working on a project that I'll be talking about more in the future, but it includes mini PCs. I went ahead and purchased. Here's the thing. We're going to build a mini rack, and I'm mostly going to build a mini rack because when Brandon and I have an idea, a concept of some video work to do, which will be really interesting, but also, you know, there's a lot of people in the community who have been talking a lot about their mini racks and the stuff that they've done. So I'm like, oh, by no means do I want you guys to think that I am getting rid of my big, beautiful server rack downstairs. No. I am happy to contribute to global warming by burning all of that energy on my own. I'm cheaper than a data center. I do it myself. But the thing, so we're gonna build a 3-node cluster of these MS02s. There's 3 of them. The thing that was really kind of mind blowing for me is look at this price. This price right here, $609, and this is bare bones. There's no RAM. Thankfully, we had the RAM and storage, or they would have been $1,200 a piece, right? That basically double the price. Yeah, Sakura mentions that I have that quad node compact server. It's going to be pulled out of the rack. That's a weekend job, is to pull that guy out and move some stuff around so that I have my proper space in between my network stuff and the compute. The quad node's going away. But I bought 3 of these guys, 1, 2, 3, just like 3 or 4 days ago, right? And 4 days ago, they were $600, right? No, 21. And today's, 4 days ago. So 4 days ago, it was $599. Today, it's $610. That's $10 in 4 days. It's just sick to my stomach to see how much, and this is just a bare bones. This is an Intel CPU and a motherboard, and that's it. In a case. I get it, right? But there's no RAM. So everything is getting more expensive. It makes me a sad panda. So more of this to come in the future. And I will say right now to everybody who's watching, listening, reading, whatever, that if you have ideas of what you would prefer to see in a build, like Brandon thinks I should try K8s, and I think he's crazy. And I know there's people in the chat who'd be like, yes, I want to see someone else suffer. I'm not necessarily certain I want to do that, but it'd be neat to see if we can make a remote mini rack multi-cluster of something and see what we can do with it. So that's coming. Yeah, friends, that's it. Brandon, you want to bring me back to the main screen? And we can wind this up. You don't have hair. K8s is fine. Thanks. That's... He's right. I can't lose the hair I don't have. Right. The chat's full of pro K8s. I do know that if I need to do it, I've got all of the talent and the skill that I could. This is the beard here. Aragorn's like, he's got beard hair you might pull out. I'm just saying, this is what makes me look like a non-generic bald IT guy. It's the beard. I'm just saying. There it is. He called me talented. Anyway, let's bring this to a close. So let's do our wind down. So like I said at the top of the hour, after this here at like 6:30, we all hang out in the after hours chat in the Discord. Free to everyone if you want to join on and hang out. I would love to have you. It's a good opportunity to hang out and talk about what you're doing in your day job, what's going on with you, what projects you're working on. It doesn't have to be work. It could be anything that's, related to your home lab and your passions and stuff. Would love to hear it. And I think like always, I think that's going to do it for this week. We will see you next week. And friends, thanks for joining me. Stay safe. If it's cold where you are, get warm. And if it's hot, cool off. We'll see you guys. Thanks for watching.